Hey, I'm in Wisconsin, in America, here for the CrossFit Games, but today has been a gorgeous, tranquil day. I've walked Wisconsin is like in between two lakes, so I've walked all the way along one lake and gone to the Botanic Gardens and just totally chilled, because tomorrow is going to be pretty full on with thousands of CrossFit fans and me. So today, a little chill day, and lots of thinking has come out of just being chilled and mulling things over and gone for a really long walk. And one of them has been the kind of what if this and what if that and what if the next thing, because property is a bit like a jigsaw, isn't it? Like the first stage, which most people really focus on, is the acquisition stage. How do I buy stuff discounted? How do I make it rent out? How do I buy and sell it? You know, that acquire, sort, manage. The second stage, which some folks are at, is the ownership and improvement stage. So that's where I'm at the moment, which is how do I reduce down my costs, how do I increase my income, how do I have better utilisation of my square footage. So I'm doing a lot of permitted development work at the moment, going into lofts, going out the back, turning houses into flats, which obviously is planning, not permitted development, but you start with the permitted development and then you do the planning. I have HMOs, as you probably know. I've got service accommodation, as you probably know. So how do we get the best usage financially out of the properties, and then at the same time, for me, because I'm a pay down debt kind of a gal, how to pay down the debt. And in order to kind of have my mind knowledgeable about paying down the debt, I've done a little exercise which might be useful for some of you guys that own quite a lot of property already, which is, if I sold this property, what would be the profit, what would be the capital gains, and what would be the actual cash in the pocket? Because probably like me, some of you guys in the early stages, what you do is you kind of raid, if you like, the early houses, refinance them to go and buy more houses. So your early ones often don't look that profitable because basically they've been, not raided because that's too strong a word, but they've been kind of raided, if you like, to refinance to go and buy more profitable houses. So I kind of know, well, I do know to the more or less to the penny, what my capital gains what the cash in the pocket after all tax and all costs would be if I sold the whole portfolio. Now, I'm never going to do that. I'm not. Ever, because I actually really enjoy the whole creativity of running properties and owning properties and keeping them good. But I worked out the apparently there's studies to show that £70,000 and above is kind of the national level of happiness, and above that nobody gets that much happier. So whilst it's gorgeous to earn loads more money, really 70 grand and above is the kind of emotional happiness level. And then I worked out, because I know how much cash would be in my pocket if I sold everything, and then I worked out how many decades 70 grand a year income I would have. And this is not like one of those bragging rights things, because you've seen my videos, I don't do any bragging rights, I just crack on with stuff. Isn't this neighbourhood gorgeous, by the way? Wait till you see some of these houses we're walking past. But what struck me was, this is 10 years it took me to build this portfolio. Only 10 years. You know, when that kind of not control, prisoner feeling, it's a sweetie, the prisoner feeling of being in an office and being under somebody else's control and not being able to leave when you want to, being too hot, too cold, maybe not always working with people you think of that particularly fabulous, doing work that you think is kind of stupid and a waste of time, and just that general feeling of my life is ticking away. Well, it took less than 10 years to build up something that if I sold everything and paid all my tax and paid myself 70 grand a year, which is the national happiness salary, that would outlive me. Less than 10 years. That's astonishing. Not that because I did it, but not at all. That's astonishing. How can you do that with a job? So whilst I am not going to sell my houses, because I quite like owning them, nonetheless, I just want that statistical fact that it took less than 10 years to basically, if I wanted to sell everything, pay all the tax, have the national happiness salary, 70 grand a year, for the rest of my life, way beyond anything I'm likely to live in. So if I can do it, you can do it.